croeso and welcome to the Calon Yarns podcast, episode 2. Can you believe it? My name is Lynn and I am coming to you from Cardiff in Wales in the UK, and this is a knitting, crochet, fibre-based fortnightly podcast. Today is Saturday, May the 18th, and it is quite overcast here today, but hey, no worries. If you are a new viewer, thank you so much for stopping by. If you are a returning viewer, thank you so much for coming back for more. But to everyone, I really appreciate you spending some time with me today, so thank you all very much indeed. The podcast will take the usual form of finished objects, works in progress, stash acquisitions, that sort of thing, and then some general chatter at the end. So let us get stuck in. So what have I finished this fortnight? Well, nothing actually. It's been quite a busy fortnight work-wise, but I thought today, instead of a finished object, I would show you something that I finished a little while ago, but this was my first yoked sweater, and it is the Zweig by Caitlin Hunter, a top-down pattern with obviously this coloured, lacy, cabley panel here, and then goes down into slightly cropped, but nothing major, but quite a nice long rib on the sleeves. So yeah, I made this a little while ago, one of my first projects with a yoked sweater. The panel here is a yarn from Owl and Sparrow, and the grey, the black kind of grey colour is one that I dyed myself, so first kind of attempt at dyeing really, a semi-solid. Yeah, so I'm quite pleased with it. It's a merino mix. It pills a little bit, but I don't mind, that's fine. As a first attempt at dyeing and doing a yoke sweater, I enjoyed the pattern very much. It's a great pattern, loads of people have done it, and I like the combination here of the lace and the cabley bit, because what it means is that you can use a speckled or a variegated yarn. It's not lots of colour work, as a lot of the Scandinavian colour work type sweaters are. You're just using one yarn for this piece to give you that bit of detail and colour. So yeah, I thought I would show you that. I was worried it was going to be too hot today, but the sun has definitely gone away back. It's been a beautiful week, but now it's a bit cloudy, so it's okay. I'm not sweating too much in my Zweig. So yes, so what have I been working on this week? Well, last week I showed you the Embruns Cardigan, and I have made some good progress on that. That is a pattern by Emily Louis. Can you see that? It's a DK pattern, and I made some quite good progress, as you can see. Oops, let me hold it up. So it's all sort of knitted in one piece. It's made out of recycled cotton, so it kind of works a lot better once you've given it a darn good blocking. But yes, there's like a neck piece here at the top that kind of goes round the front, as you can see from the pattern, and this is what I am knitting it in. It's the Simply Recycled DK weight yarn by good old Sirdar. And this is stuff that I had in stash. I'm trying to work through quite a bit of my stash, so come on Martin, let's polish our halos. Yes, so I'm doing well. I'm doing well this year. I'm kind of thinking one out, one in. So one out of stash and then maybe something into stash, but we'll see. But the thing is that now we've started the game of yarn chicken. Yeah, that's why I've knitted one sleeve, to sort of see how much that will take before I carry on with the body. It's quite cropped at the moment. I might just about be able to get away with it because it's not a wraparound cardigan as such, but I think I'll probably do the other arm and then just go for gold on the body to see how far I get. But I'm really enjoying it. It's like I say, a nice light cottony one ready for the summer, so I am cracking on with that. Hopefully in a fortnight's time this one will be done and I can fashion it for you. So that is that one. Oh yes, now then, on the sleeve, the sleeve shaping, I'm going to try and put it on over my jumper. The sleeve shaping, can you see, it's supposed to happen all the way down, but I made an adaptation and I started it a lot later. can you see? I can't work out which way this camera works. It's fine. It's absolutely fine. It's not an adaptation. I made a mistake. I didn't read the pattern properly, and I started my decreases for my sleeve a lot later than I should have done. But it's fine. I wasn't going to pull back that whole sleeve. I can tell you that right now. And actually, you know, plenty of room for the guns, plenty of room up here, and then it just kind of gets a little bit more narrow, excuse me, as the sleeve goes down. But what that did make me think about was when I watch lots of different podcasters and they talk about adaptations they have made to their patterns that they've been working on and everything, I kind of think, I wish I knew how to do that. I don't think I have knitted enough patterns or enough variations of patterns to be able to go, I know, I'm just going to add that shaping in, add a little shoulder shaping in, or some waist shaping, or some sleeve shaping. I'm not confident enough to do that yet, but I hear lots of other podcasters just kind of throwing that in, and I think, oh, one day maybe. But then my friend Jane from my Yarn Buddy group sent a link to our group chat from Holst Yarn. I'll put it on the link below. But the lady there, your Holst Yarn is a yarn brand, really popular at the moment, but there was like a blog post from her talking about adaptations for necklines. Now then, this was interesting, and also at Edinburgh Yarn Festival, which I was lucky enough to go to this year, I bought this amazing book. I'm sure you've all heard of it. I'm sure most of you have got it, and this isn't news to anyone apart from me. But this Strange Brew book from Tin Can Knits. These are the lovely patterns, and it's a collection of lots of yoke patterns, bottom up and top down. But what it does have, in all different sizes, children's patterns, bigger male patterns, Aran weight, DK weight, 4-ply, loads and loads and loads. Really, really lovely. But the great thing it does have, it shows you or explains to you, gives you a little roadmap. I won't kind of give too much away. Buy the book, it's fantastic. But it gives you a roadmap of the construction method of a yoked sweater, whether that's bottom up or top down. And newsflash, your neck is narrower than your shoulders. I know, can you believe it? This was news to me, not the fact that your neck is narrower than your shoulders, but the way a pattern is constructed, it means that obviously you either have to increase your stitch count if you're going top down, or decrease your stitch count if you're going bottom up. And those decreases or increases happen incrementally. So what the lady in the blog post from Holsgarn was saying is that if you don't like a neckline, if it's too high, we always kind of worry, don't we, with the top down, because you've started then and it's too late. You can't pull the whole jumper back. But what you can do, if you think that pattern, the neckline is too high, then you just start at the next stitch count, the one a bit further down, or further down if you want a nice slash neck, because they will all have that incremental increase as you work down. When you're working a top-up sweater, when you're working a bottom-up sweater, it doesn't matter so much, does it? Because you can just stop and then go for your ribbing or whatever the edging is. But top-down is a little bit more difficult. And that was, for me, a bit of a, yaha, light bulb, yeah, okay, I get it now. So you can make those little adaptations if you know what the construction of the pattern is doing, why it's doing a certain thing, and then you can go, oh, I don't want to do that, but I know how to jump in a little bit later to make a wider neckline or a sleeve that narrows a little bit later. Obviously it was a mistake, but we'll go with the pattern adaptation for now. So that was pretty. Now you're all sitting there probably going, yes, we know that. But for me, it was, oh, brilliant, great. So you never know. One day I might make a little adaptation in my neckline that I meant to do rather than a mistake. Anyway, I recommend the Strange Brew book from Tin Can Knits. It's fantastic. Lots of beautiful patterns in there, and it gives you ideas for how to create your own yoke, colour work. What's going on here? We're talking about necklines. It gives you lots of information about how to create your own yoke, so I would absolutely recommend that book. So there we are. Had a bit of a revelation this fortnight. I feel very brainy. Oh, it's so sad, but there we are. So what else have I been working on? My socks, my broken siege stitch socks, I haven't made any progress on. I apologise. My Kate Davis hat, nope, no progress there. But I have made progress on dun, 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 my Ranunculus. Now, those who listened to the last week's episode are aware that this is my second Ranunculus. And in my Yarn Buddy group, this is probably, I don't know, the 5th, maybe 6th Ranunculus. And I had a message from Giddy Aunt Yarns. I had a message from Giddy Aunt Yarns. Woohoo! Thank you. But she has decided that a group of Ranunculus sweaters should be known as a gaggle of Ranunculuses. So there we are. That's what I'm going for. I'm going for a fully fledged gaggle. So yes, this is the Ranunculus pattern. You can do it in lots of different yarn weights, but I am doing, and a lot of people at the moment are doing it in, 1 strand of lace or 4-ply, and then 1 strand of mohair. My first one I just did in lace weight, and that was a lovely, really open, lacy top that my daughter stole. So that must be good. But this one I am doing in these 2 beautiful yarns. This one is the mohair, obvs. This is by Giddy Aunt Yarns. Beautiful, beautiful yarn that I bought at Wonderful Wales. This is in her halfpenny colourway, and it is just glorious. I'm never quite sure how to do this. And this one is some lace weight I had in stash. Yes, I know. So together they make a perfect match, and I will show you my progress so far. So this is what I've done so far. Ooh, yes. So the colours go together beautifully, and it's a really lovely open lace. Obviously, once it's blocked, you can see that detail a little bit more. But I have got past the yoke, obviously, the short row shaping. I've just divided for the sleeves last night. So now it's a case of just around and around to as long as you want, really, or as long as the yarn lasts. I only have this ball of the mohair. I have more of the lace, so I think I've gone for the short sleeve so far, but I might join back up and do maybe 3/4 length sleeves if I have enough yarn left. So yeah, that's coming along very nicely. The other thing I have on the needles, which I forgot to tell you last week, oops, sorry, is a blanket. So I am crocheting a blanket, the Trellis Blanket from Attic 24. So this is what I have done so far. This is can you see that? It's such a lovely pattern. It's really easy to kind of get into your head, and it grows really quickly. I think her pattern is for double knitting thickness yarn. She uses a lot of Stylecraft yarns, which are lovely to work with for blankets. But I thought I would have a go at dyeing some colours to match the colours in my bedroom. I've got a chair that's a little bit seen better days, so I want to put a blanket over it. So I have decided to go for something like this. So I dyed up the yarn. It's a Polworth yarn, a 4-ply weight Polworth nylon mix, and I'm doing it on 3.5mm hook, on a 3.5mm hook. And just as you can see, these general yarn colours that I have dyed up. I sort of chose 5 or 6 that I really like from the colours in my bedroom, and then sort of did some semi-solids and some speckles. So yeah, they've worked out really nicely, I think. Yeah, nice little colours. I'm not going to show you them all, just greys and blues and yellows. Yeah, so that again was a good yarn experiment. This is a blanket along with just me. The yarn gang were going to do one, but I don't know, they haven't seemed to do one this year. We generally do one every year, but they've got other projects on their hooks and needles. So I worked out how big I wanted the blanket, and then I just divided by 11 months. So I do that amount of stitches, that amount of rows rather per month, and then that gives me a month then to do all the ends. I'm not going to do those as I go. Do all the ends and do a border for the end of the year. So I always try and have a little crochet blanket on the go. So that is that. Yeah, so as in projects on the go, that's it really. What else have I been up to? Yarn acquisitions. I haven't bought anything. I have been very good, but I just wanted to show you. I was going through my stash trying to see what happens next. As I said last week, I'm trying to work through my stash in the way of looking what I've got and then seeing what patterns I can match up with that stash. And there's a great facility on Ravelry to do that. You can say what you've got, how much you've got, and it'll come up with lots and lots of options for different patterns. So that's a really great facility to use on the joy that is Ravelry. So what I bought, now I bought this last year at Wonderful Wales, and I bought it because I needed it. I really needed it. Not Wonderful Wales now, Wonderful Wales 2018. I needed this yarn desperately. I think I even went back for it. It is beautiful, but I clearly didn't need it because it's still in my stash. But this is from 5 Moons hand-painted yarn, which creates some beautiful, beautiful colours. And this is 250-gram skeins of sock yarn, 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon. And they are lovely. Lovely, lovely, lovely. And I was going to do some colourwork socks with them, but now we're sort of out of season. I still think they go together beautifully, so maybe I will tuck that project away. The 5 Moons yarn company is absolutely glorious, and they always pitch up at Wonderful Wales, and they have some wonderful, wonderful colours. I've got lots and lots of bits and bobs from them, so I would absolutely recommend them. This isn't sponsored. I'm just saying what I kind of dug out of my stash, thinking, oops, I needed that, and here we are with it still in its little skeins, hanks, to be tucked away for another day. So you can see now why I'm trying to use up as much stash as I can. I have lots of bits and bobs like that. So that will become some socks, I think, soon. Any of you watch the Happy Knitting podcast? She's made a lovely pair of colourwork socks recently, so I might find that pattern and have a little look at what's going on there. Other than that, that is about it really for what's on the needles and what's in progress and things that I am eyeing for the future. So now it is time for Covert Corner. So, Covert Corner this week, what has caught my eye? Please give me lots of suggestions. What's caught your eye on Ravelry or on Instagram or any of those kind of social media-y kind of things? This week, there's been lots of posts on Instagram for the My Boy Lollipop sweater. I'll put the little pictures there if I can work out how to do it. I did it well last week, so I'll try and do that again this week. Yes, My Boy Lollipop by Getting Pearly With It. Getting Pearly With It? Get Pearly With It, I can't remember, but I'll put the link below. That's sort of a knit along. Her name is Nancy Ritchie, and lots of people have been posting pictures of their My Boy Lollipop tops, which are really lovely, but for us going into spring summer it might be a little bit heavy. It's quite close knitting and I think closely fitted, and a lot of the people have done them in wool-based yarns. So I had a little look through her Ravelry page, what other patterns she has got there, and I found 2 really, really lovely patterns that I thought might be perfect for the summer. So the first one is called the Bamboo Summer Top. It's a free pattern on Ravelry, and that is in a DK weight yarn. I have some soy yarn in my stash, which is DK, so that has got a beautiful drape on it, a nice little bit of shine, so I think that might match up with that if I get the chance to cast that on before the summer holidays strike, maybe. So have a little look at that pattern. If you've got some cotton or some bamboo or something nice and light in a DK, free pattern as I say, so have a look at that. Then another one she had, which she designed for Knitty City. I'm not sure how long ago, but when I see a pattern I like, investigate further into those designers, see what else they've got on the go. I'm sure you're exactly the same. And I found it's a top called I'm just looking at my notes, it is a top called the Watermelon top. Which is in a cotton Aran weight on a 7mm needle, so that will knit up super fast, and it's knit from side to side, so it goes from one sleeve across the body to the other sleeve, and it's quite oversized, quite loose, quite wide armholes, so that looks really nice. And often an Aran cotton can be really quite reasonable to buy in your local yarn store or online, and have some really lovely colours. Now the watermelon top in the picture obviously has a colour. Oh my goodness, I've lost my words. So obviously has a colour progression through it, different colours. So you could either do it in a solid or you could do it in that self-striping sort of yarn. But either way, I thought that looks like a really nice summer knit. Because that's the thing now, going into the summer months, we need to think about things that are a little bit lighter to knit, ready to wear in the summer, obviously, but also those projects to tuck away really for holidays. So do have a look at those. That's also a free pattern. I will put the links in the show notes below, but have a little investigate at her other stuff. It's really lovely stuff, so do have a look at that. And if you're on Instagram, you can see lots and lots of different versions of the Getting Pearly With It My Boy Lollipop jumpers. Have a little look. So what else is there to say? That's about it really for the knitting content this fortnight. It's been quite quiet on the needles, but quite busy in work. So I'll just have a little bit of a chat now about what I've been up to. So if you are leaving me now, that's lovely. Thank you so much for stopping by, as I say. Please like and subscribe. And if not, if you're staying, I will let you know what's been going on in my world. So I am a lecturer in a university here in Wales, and so we are gearing up to the end of term, which is why it's been so busy really. Lots of student presentations, lots of assessments, lots of marking and paperwork, getting things ready for the various exam boards as we head into the summer. So yeah, it's busy, but it's always a real celebratory time, I think, as each set of students comes to the end of their year. It's nice to kind of see their work, see their projects take shape. And it's also really weird to see our third years. Obviously, they've been with us for 3 years, obviously. So it's nice to kind of start to see their progression and see their reaction to the fact that they are going out into the big wide world soon. So that's always nice to see their celebration of 3 years of progress and work. So that's been fun. So that will be busy now for the next couple of weeks really with those assessments and presentations. And also that means that my own children will be coming back from their respective universities. So yeah, the organising of, I'm sure some of you have been through it, the organising of picking them up, picking their stuff up. Obviously they have to leave their accommodation. So packing everything up, coming out of their accommodation, getting everything ready for accommodation next year, blah, 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 blah. Student loans, paperwork, yada, yada, yada. So yeah, lots of stuff to do domestically as well as work-wise. But it's all good fun. Getting their bedrooms ready for when they come back. It's nuts. You kind of realise how much space you have until they arrive. So yeah, just kind of getting geared up for their return. Can't wait to spend some time with them though. So that would be really nice. So that's about it from me really. I hope everything is well in your world and you're having some nice knitting time or some crochet time. You've got some exciting plans for projects over the summer. If you can think of anything for Covert Corner that you are eyeing up for the summer, maybe if you get time. Often I go on holiday and I barely do a stitch. It's just a nice time to catch up on some books and some reading as well really. So yeah. Thank you again for dropping by. I will be back with you in a fortnight. But for now, take care. Hwyl fawr. Bye.